Hi, I'm Time staff writer Reza Bruner, and I'm here with singer, songwriter, and actor Isabela Merced. Isabela, it's great to meet you. So let's start with the basics. You got your start on Broadway opposite Ricky Martin in a performance of Evita when you were just 10 years old. And since then, you've been in movies like Transformers and Dora the Explorer, and on TV shows, on screen, and as a voice actress. You've released songs in both Spanish and English, and this summer, you're in two more movies, Spirit Untamed, which is out in theaters in June, and Sweet Girl on Netflix in August. So it's safe to say that at just 19 years old, you've kept yourself very busy. How has this spring been for you so far?
My spring, I have just been enjoying the time that I have now because it feels like the calm before the storm. I'm going to film another movie in the summer, actually in 2 weeks, starting in June. It's called The Father of the Bride, and it's also like a remake with all Latinos. It's gonna be so much fun, but I know my music's gonna be releasing soon as well. So I'm totally enjoying my time with my family and my friends right now as much as I can.
So, Isabella, one of the things that struck me about your career so far, and one of the hallmarks that I've noticed across many Gen Z leaders and celebrities who I speak to these days, is your willingness to embrace your identity and be an advocate for your communities. You're half Peruvian, your mom is Peruvian, and I know you're proud of that part of your heritage. How have your roots impacted your work as an actor and a singer?
I totally think there are so many advantages to embracing who you are because not only do you feel prouder of yourself, you feel like, okay, not only am I doing what I want to do, but I'm doing it authentically. And something that I struggled with growing up was, which side do I embrace more? Society almost feels like you have to choose. It makes you feel like you have to choose. And I wasn't sure. I was constantly being pulled and tugged and pushed. And, I wasn't sure if when I went on audition that I wanted to look more like a cutesy little white girl or if I wanted to embrace the whole Latina sassy stereotype. And that's something that I had to figure out because when you're just starting off, you are desperate just to work. You're just like, I just want to be seen. I just want to get my name out there. But thank the Lord, I gratefully had the opportunity to be a part of amazing projects in my career. And now I have the freedom to be able to choose my projects. Not only that, I'm starting to produce my own projects with amazing people who also believe in inclusivity in casting. And have I'm just amazed at, the fact that it is really easy to find talented people of color. You just have to go and look for them. There are so many, but Hollywood is not willing to step out of their comfort zone of the like regular 10 white directors that they choose for their blockbusters and take a leap of faith and find new talent. And it's the same for a lot of things and a lot of places that are old establishments that aren't willing to try new things because it's too risky for the sake of the money. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that one day I can be in charge of all my projects and call the shots and choose representation over anything, anytime.
Yeah. Well, my very next question was going to be, have you seen a shift or felt a shift in the importance of representation and inclusivity, both on screen and off screen, in your years working in showbiz so far? You already sort of started answering that, but please expand further.
I have seen a shift. I question, considering I've been here since before the shift, I question the intent behind it. I know everything Hollywood does is for money. But, I wonder if the movement was started by white people catching on, like, oh, they'll pay if it's someone who looks like them on the screen. They'll pay to see it. They like that. um, Considering the fact that I've been told and I've been sent and offered roles for several projects where it's an all Latino or all person of color cast, but then you look at the people behind the project and it's all white people. So tell me what you're going for here, because it's not representation if it's not across the board. So again, that's why I'm getting more involved in production, because I think that's the only way to do it authentically. And it's people of color casting people of color involving and uplifting them, and that's all I would have wanted when I was younger.
So I also wanted to hear more about some of the work you've done off screen in terms of activism. I know that you have worked with UNICEF in the past, and just the other day you were on Voto Latino's Instagram doing a live stream with Senator Amy Klobuchar. So clearly you're very interested in being politically and philanthropically involved. Tell me a little bit more about where you see yourself fitting into those types of organizations and why it's important to you.
Yeah, I remember the Voto Latino live stream. The whole time I was absolutely speechless. I was like, I can't believe I'm talking to Senator Amy Klobuchar. And she's so cool and she's so just real, and totally just restored my faith in the work that some people are doing behind the scenes, and it isn't being tweeted about and going viral. It's just something that they're doing because they're genuinely nice people who care about the community and care about people like us, and women, and just giving a voice to the voiceless and empowering people who normally don't feel like maybe they feel like, hey, no one's going to care anyways. Even if I do go out and do the things that I feel like are going to make a change, no one really cares at the end of the day. That's a lot of thought processes that a lot of disenfranchised citizens have. And so my goal is to let them know, hey, I literally don't come from nepotism. I don't come from a wealthy family. We literally had nothing. I'm making more than my parents ever made or seen in their lives. And I'm trying to show you guys, yes, it is possible and you totally can. So I'm working closely with a lot of organizations such as UNICEF. I am working there as an ambassador, specifically in Peru, where I feel like I can make a lot of change. And I feel like I can make a big change with the work that I'm doing and the work that they're giving me. And they just assign me things. They'll just be like, hey, do you want to go speak at this place? Totally, you're welcome. Like, I would love to. And then I just continue to work with other people. And for UNICEF, I've visited a lot of places, a lot of rural areas, and specifically I've raised money for organizations such as Misión Huascarán, Tejiendo Esperanza, which is Mission Huascarán, and they are knitting for hope. And so it supports these women. They make these clothes and they sell them, and the money all goes back to the women and their families, and it's so beautiful. I used their work, and they knitted a few things for my music video Papi. There's another secret music video I have coming out where it's just Peruvians all across the board, and it's all for Peruvian tourism. I totally think Peru is so underrated and needs more attention. And and I'm also working with Cameo. I think this is good to get the word out here. If you guys are interested in any birthday shout outs or anything, even just a message, like, I am donating every month. I'm choosing a new charity to donate all the money to that I raised from Cameo, and sending messages to my fans. And the next one I'm picking is called Real Good Rescue. And I actually rescued all my dogs from, well, not all of them, just one of them, but they're all rescues. And particularly I love my experience with Real Good Rescue. So I know them very well, and I know what they do. I trust them. So I can't wait to pick other places that I have a good relationship with to raise money for.
Yeah. That's a really neat way to use your platform for good. So it's really cool to hear about that. And I think it's just, you're one example of a young person who has turned their celebrity into a way to speak to your generation. And we've seen, especially in the last election, just the incredible impact that young people in general can have on the social and political landscape of our country, or any country really. So what is your message to teens who are maybe just beginning to become aware of how they can help shape a better future for their communities, or, be an advocate for causes they care about?
Yeah, I mean, my main thing is I can only speak on my personal experience, and that was I felt a little bit intimidated by the process of getting involved politically and in my community, and not knowing enough. My worry was maybe I don't know enough about the situation, therefore I can be invalidated. And I feel like an imposter perhaps when I'm speaking on these situations, but it is actually a lot easier to get involved now. And, we were working on the For the People Act on the Voto Latino Live. It's a bill that they're trying to pass in order to empower people who normally wouldn't have before the pandemic, but because of the steps we took to make it easier to vote, for people to call in or have automatic registration as soon as they're legible voters. Because of this pandemic, they're considering maybe making those permanent. And so with this act and this bill, that would make it so much easier. So if you can call your local Congress and senators and raise awareness and just stay on top of it, make sure you're looking at the right resources for information. And that's also quite easy to go about as well. Just you can be involved and you can make a difference. Don't ever feel like you can't, because that's not true, and that's what they want you to think.
Are you optimistic about your generation's ability to make that difference and to be heard by people in power? Has this past year inspired you in any way, or given you a sense of what you want that future to look like?
It certainly has inspired me. I find that people that I even live with, at my house, have started to change their mindsets and broaden their views and be a little bit more open-minded. And I think that's where it starts. And so if they can too, after years of me trying and no one listening, I think other people can. I have faith, I have hope. And I think that's really what matters at the end of the day. And I think with this, I don't know, the short attention span of everyone right now, and because of social media, and people they're just getting used to getting information so quickly and rapidly. I think, I'm going to try my best to stay on top of it and keep spreading awareness. And rather than making, I don't know what to call it. It's really just these movements, rather than making them temporary, we go about trying to make them permanent and not just a phase that we're going through of caring about something like the Black Lives Matter movement.
Right.
It's important to always keep it on the forefront and remember what the reason is behind why we're fighting.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of that, but also thinking about your career and your future in general, what kind of projects are you most excited about taking on, whether it's in the advocacy space or in acting and singing right now? What are you most looking forward to working on?
I am very excited to start producing. I'm already in the process of producing a project, but to release that project and show the world, what we are capable of and what we can do if you just give us a little support, give us a shot. And I think that's going to be absolutely wonderful and very fulfilling for me and my soul and all that I've wanted to do. As well as releasing music and being able to perform it in Peru, which is something that I've been dying to do. I'm excited in general. I don't really know what's going to happen in the future. Someone asked me where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I have no idea. I just hope I hope I'm just making people happy. I hope I'm happy myself and not sacrificing anything for anyone. And just making sure I'm healthy, and I'm really grateful for where I'm at.
So I want to finish off by talking about the next thing that's coming out, which is Spirit Untamed. I watched the trailer and I was very intrigued because I grew up horseback riding, and it is the story of a famous female horse rider and her daughter, which you play as a voice actress. So I'm curious if you could share a little bit about why this movie was interesting or special to you, and if there's anything important about it that really spoke to you as you were working on it.
For me, I absolutely love animals in general. I am not necessarily an equestrian myself, even though I love horses. I think it is a movie that girls who love horses can relate to, but I love the fact that there's a lesson for everyone when you watch it. And overall, it's just a movie that moves with heart. I think everyone involved totally put their heart into it and all of their work into it. We finished it in 2 years as opposed to most animated movies that take 3 or 4. I think part of it has to do with the pandemic. You have time to focus on these things, no distractions, and you can totally involve yourself into the story. And I absolutely loved this process. I think it's such a it's just like a wholesome movie with great lessons in it. And I can't wait for you to see it. I can't wait for my niece to see it. I can't wait for me to just go into the theaters again after a while, because it's only releasing in theaters. So it'll be just a great experience to see a movie in theaters.
On that note, Isabela, thank you so much for joining us for Time 100 Talks. It's been so great to hear about all of your work and upcoming projects.
Thank you so much for having me. I had so much fun, and I hope everyone watching learned a lot. Thank you. I'll see you soon, hopefully.
Thank you to all of today's guests, our Time contributors, and to you, our viewers, for watching. Make sure to check out time.com/time100talks to watch previous conversations and get Time delivered to your home by going to time.com/subscribe. We'll see you soon.